Hey, what is up guys? Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Blue Archive video. So let's talk about this week's banner. This is going to be a very important banner going forward because right now, if you guys are not aware, we are going to have Shupokaki coming really soon. That's going to be somewhere, I believe, at September. With all the cutting for time period, it seems like we are going to get one of these banners faster than the other one. So that's going to be something that we have to note of. Now here's the truth, right? So right now, if you look at this particular banner, alright, so for these patch notes, you can see one very distinct factors, what they are trying to do right here. I'm sure you guys are aware by now that Global is trying to rush a little bit to try to reduce the time and catch up to JP. So we got Izumi right here at 19th of August, alright, and then alongside with that we got New Year Akari 19th of August, we got the Christmas Arena 19th of August, we got the Christmas Hanae 19th of August, and last but not least, we got the New Year Fuuka and New Year Haruna at 19th of August. So all of these banners are happening at the same time, so we get literally 5 banners. Now in the JP server, it is actually spaced out by 1 week. So you can see Christmas students, their banner running for 1 week first at 12th of March back then, and then 19 we get the other 3, right? So this time basically Global is basically taking out 1 week here and basically combining these 5 banners all together. So let's talk about the most important student in my opinion in this particular patch, and that is going to be none other than New Year Fuuka. Now New Year Fuuka, should you get her? In my opinion, New Year Fuuka is going to be one of the few important universal buffers that you have to pay very close attention to. So number 1, she's a limited student. Alright, that means if you don't get her right now, if you don't have her already, you will have to probably wait 1 whole year to get her again, or even more than 1 year, right? Because we have had plenty of limited students that have to rotate around a little bit. That is going to be a little bit unfortunate. So here's the thing. I do recommend getting her because for limited students, you are going to need to pull them from the banner, right? So there's just no way for you to basically obtain them otherwise. So New Year Fuuka is not only a limited banner student, she is also going to be a meta student as well. Right? She's not weak, she's one of the strongest meta student in the game, enabling quite a lot of characters in the game, right? So she is going to be a 2 cost on special slot. She can give 1 ally's the reduction of cost for their EX skill 50%, and she also buffed their crit damage by 32%. So that's going to be something to keep in mind for 35 seconds. Now you might think that, okay, this is going to be she's not as strong because we also have other characters that can give crit damage buff like Akko or Dress Aru etc. Now first up, Akko is going to always be compared to her. Akko gives crit rate and crit damage, and her crit damage is quite high, right? 73% crit damage. New Year Fuuka does not give crit rate, she only gives crit damage. But if you notice the timing here, for Akko is only 16 seconds buff, whereas for New Year Fuuka, she is going to be a 35-second buff. So you also have to take that into consideration, not just the value, but also the duration of the buffs. That's going to be very important. Now, especially if you're trying to cycle through right now, with New Year Fuuka, things are going to be easier because you are going to be able to halve the skill cost. So therefore, most of the time, if you do it correctly in the proper rotation, proper order, you are going to be able to fire the EX skill for that particular student that you buff twice, right? In that particular case, it sort of evens out. She's going to be as strong as Akko, if not even better, right? So in a lot of cases, I would say she's going to be quite important. She's a very meta student, and also if you're comparing her viability right now, she's going to be the only special student that can reduce the EX cost by half. Alright, so the other 2 students right now that can do that is going to be in the striker slot. So first up is going to be Seiya. I'm sure you guys are aware by now. Seiya also has this ability. She can do it 2 times per 2 EX skills, right? She's a 3 cost student, and she's going to be able to do that on the striker slot student. Now one more is going to be Ui. Now Ui is going to be still somewhat relevant if you need somebody that can reduce your EX skill cost by half. She will be able to help you out right there. So she's going to be very crucial in that particular case. As you can see, her attack percent buff also is going to be there, 16%. It is going to be somewhat helpful if you don't have any attack percent buffer, but for the special slot students, you only have New Year Fuka. Now the problem with Ui and the problem with Seiya, while they are able to apply 2 EXP rotation, in most cases, there are some students that just doesn't really pair well with them. One that you can think of right now is going to be Dress Hina, because her skill works in a very unique manner that she enters the second state when she activates the first skill. So giving her Ui or Seiya's buff is somewhat away. So in that particular case, New Year Fuka is going to be better. It seems like she pairs well with those characters, and of course Mika is going to be one more exception, because Mika is a character that doesn't really need crit rate, right? So she is going to always guarantee crits, and that carries over to the upcoming swimsuit Mika as well. So as you can see, for a character that can guarantee crit, that's going to be very viable for someone like Mika. New Year Fuka is going to be a very strong student. Why haven't I maxed my Mika yet? So let's just do that, right? So that's just going to be how it is. We're going to increase the Gorilla's HP. So with that, let's talk about all of these characters right here, right? Alongside in this particular banner, because we got 5 students. I think that New Year Fuka is definitely, you know, if I can recommend her, she's going to be the priority. But who are the other students that you want to opt in right here, right? So we got Christmas Hanae, Christmas Serena, we got New Year Izumi, she's going to be the new one, and of course New Year Haruna is also going to be the limited student. But most of these other students, they are definitely more skippable compared to New Year Fuka. Now Christmas Hanae, she used to be used a lot, but right now she's just not that used that much anymore because of HP recovery is going to be decent for 5 costs, but we have other students that can do that, and then she have this recovery rate as well for the ally with the lowest HP. So she is going to be pretty much a dedicated healer to help you with the healing over time. Now as for Christmas Serena, she's going to be the much more sought after one if you have to pick between one, because she gives crit damage buff, as you can see right here. Increased critical damage, right, to other allies within the circular area around herself, and that's going to be positioning dependent, and also each of it is going to add up to 3.7% penetration damage bonus against the enemies weak to it. We already have a lot of those characters that can do that as well. She is going to basically, you can see, quite a lot of critical damage increase, so she's also very strong with character that can guarantee crit, right? Alongside with that, we also got New Year Izumi, which is going to be a new student. She's an explosive special student at the back. She heals as well. So quite a number of these students are pretty much healers depending on who you have. New Year Izumi also increased attack. That's going to be pretty cool by 34%. So she's a healer that increases attack, but 5 costs at special slot, right? So keep in mind, she can also increase critical rate if you need that. And very interesting sub-skill right here, increased healing received by all allies by up to 17.3%. I think this is going to be very useful if you're trying to tackle Fury of Set. This sub-skill is, you know, seems to be quite unique, but of course, other than that, you know, that's pretty much the main highlight, the main value. And last but not least, we got New Year Haruna. She is going to be a little bit more expensive at 5 costs, alright, and she can basically target 5 enemies, and she's going to basically fire shots around them. So do you really need her, right? Maybe in PvP, she can be used here and there, but for 5 costs, it is going to be a little bit expensive. Attack increased by 30%, as you can see right there. And last but not least, when attacked, there's a 20% chance to reduce enemies' defense. Now, this one is going to be pretty good, especially for a passive skill, right? Sub-skill, that's going to be something that you don't have to bother with timing as well, right? So it depends on the RNG chance right here. Last but not least, almost completely forgot about her. New Year Akari. So there's actually 6 banner right here, right? Which is kind of insane. So where does she stand right now, right? If you guys are not aware what she does, she basically gives you attack percent, attack speed boost, not attack percent, attack speed boost and mystic efficiency. So she summons like this vehicle, and if you are like near to this vehicle or this truck that she's at, you basically get this boost right there, right? She is going to come out for like about 30 seconds, and of course, right now you can see she also deals every 13 seconds she does some damage to enemies as well. She's going to be mostly used in the Fury of Set, the Mystic type. Definitely, I highly recommend you guys to get her for the end game content. In my opinion, she's probably going to be the second most important students out of this bunch, right? New Year Fuka is number 1, and if you can pick one more for the second one, I would say it's going to be New Year Akari. In my opinion, she's actually that good. So because of her viability and her usability, so quite often she's going to be used use constantly. I don't have her, so I always have to borrow if I need one from the for the Fury of set, right? Which is going to be something that big shout out to anyone that set her up as the support student. Now all of these students, all of them are going to have their more distinct role, specifically in some certain areas, certain rates, except for Year Fuka. I feel like she's probably going to be the most universal one. If you are new, I highly recommend you guys to get Year Fuka, especially for those of you who do not have her yet. So I'm not sure when is going to be the next time that Year Fuka will rerun. But here's the thing though. I know a lot of people are going to ask me the most important question, how about Shupogaki twins, right? How about the twins that's coming right after the next couple of banners, most likely next month? We're going to have both Hikari and Nozomi. Now this is going to be the next limited student. Alright, so should you pull for Year Fuka or should you pull for Hikari and Nozomi? Now it's a little bit unfair to compare because this one has two characters, two banners, right? Now Hikari and Nozomi, if you get lucky, you can probably get both. If not, if you are not lucky, you might have to get 48,000 pyroxenes, and that's going to be kind of expensive if you think about it, right? So that's going to be something that players will have to decide carefully. Now Hikari is going to be the student that applies sonic efficiency. She's going to be the buffer. She's going to be the better one to go for because she improved the sonic efficiency by 92%. That's going to be a lot, right? She can also give more sonic efficiency right there to striker allies, and right here you can see increased attack speed as well. So that is going to be something that is going to be kind of interesting overall, alright, for a student. And then Nozomi is going to be the DPS, the damage dealer. She's going to be a character or a student that can do up to 1000%. She basically hits in the straight line, and of course there's additional cost. If you consume the additional cost, you get increased damage dealt by 25%. And these two works really well. Now Nozomi is going to also guaranteed crit, you can see right here, right? Surprisingly, Year Fuka works really well with her as well because of the guaranteed critical hit, increased own attack speed by 25%, and of course critical damage by 25%. Now here's the truth. If I have to pick between Hikari Nozomi versus Year Fuka, which one would I go with, right? Year Fuka is going to be a universal standard supporter. Alright, so what do I mean by that? Universal standard supporter meaning students that are much more consistent in terms of their usability in every single total assault and grand assault, every single race. Alright, so we have plenty of these before, and those characters are going to be something like Himari. Alright, she's also going to be one of the few that belongs in that category. Ako as well, she's also going to be one of the few that belongs in that category. And of course, Year Fuka, I think Shinso Shiroko belongs in that category as well. Kisaki as well, so she belongs in that universal standard supporter. And of course, Ryo, right? So these are the few students that are pretty much going to be consistent in terms of their ability to perform regardless of your account, right? Whereas Hikari and Nozomi is going to be dependent on the boss because they are of specific color, alright? They are going to shine in probably Sonic type raids. Think of Hikari as a New Year Kayoko, alright? I'm sure you guys are familiar with her. She's going to be a student that's one of the strongest buffer, but for Mystic type boss, right? Because she buffed one ally, Mystic effectiveness improved by 92%, and that's going to be a lot. And then same for the sub skill as well. So she's going to give a lot of Mystic effectiveness. However, only if the boss is going to be a Mystic type. So that means a specific color of boss. So Year Fuka is still going to be generally more usable consistently across all the bosses, which makes her value slightly higher. Now again, I'm not aware of what is going to happen in the future, what is the plan for the developers to introduce maybe a new boss, new mechanics along the way. But for now, Year Fuka is probably going to be one of the most consistent character in terms of helping your account. If you don't have her, I would highly vouch for her over Hikari and Nozomi. Now if you're playing specifically for meta, that's going to be how it is. Now if you're playing, you know, just to collect characters and you prefer the twins, then go for it. You're pretty much only going to use Hikari and Nozomi. You're fighting a specific purple boss, right? So for now, there's still not enough purple boss yet, Sonic type boss, to justify getting a lot of these Sonic type characters. Now that's not to say that they are not important. Of course, the importance is going to be of a different level, right? So you still want to get the universal buffer, universal supporter, followed by the specific colored ones, right? New Year Kayoko and Hikari is going to belong in that category alongside with a few others, right? That's going to be pretty much it for now. Alright, so alongside with that, we also have Bina coming, this is going to be in a field warfare, as you can see, a grand assault, so that means you're going to be fighting multiple colors. So as you can see right here, it's going to be light armor, elastic and special. Okay, very interesting. So red, purple and blue. Okay, so we're gonna have some event recap, so make sure you guys do this if you haven't already. So you are going to be able to claim some of these exclusive students if you guys haven't already. That is going to be New Year Izumi's interaction as well. Very cool. Alongside with that, we got double drop for heart that's going to start tomorrow, alongside with the event rerun. So I don't really mind that as much. At least we are going to be able to farm those things. So yeah, that is going to be it for this particular video. Highly recommend you guys to get Year Fuka. She's still going to be a very common supporter that you'll see a lot, and you are probably going to use her all the time. Alright, regardless if it's joint firing drill, total assault, grand assault, her value is definitely up there. Highly recommend you guys to get her. So that's going to be my advice for this week's banner. So with that being said, that's going to be it for this particular video. Subscribe if you guys haven't already, give this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.